Well, good morning to you and the viewers at home. I'm coming to you live from Burgers Park in Pretoria, where the mass mobilization of the Alliance is set to continue, with now a picket or protest rather being held to Kgosi Mampuru prison, where Mr. Janusz Walus, the killer of Chris Hani, will be or is expected to be released from tomorrow. We do know that there was an incident yesterday where he was stabbed, and we are awaiting developments from the DCS regarding that. But I do want to speak to the SACP's General Secretary, Mr. Kgosi Mampuru, on other developments since we gathered on Saturday at the Constitutional Court. Mr. Mampuru, thank you so much for joining us. Many developments have taken place since this Constitutional Court ruling, as well as the picket. I first want to start with the stabbing incident. I'm sure the SACP has learnt of this. What do you make of this incident just 2 days prior to the expected release of Mr. Walus on parole?
Firstly, we want to focus largely on the parole process, but certainly is a matter that we cannot ignore. The bottom line is that our people are expressing their anger in different forms. We are trying to contain the anger of our people to say we're a constitutional democracy. We should respect the rule of law. That's why we've taken up this matter legally. So we want to contain it in that space, and that's why we've also called our members to come here to continue to express ourselves, because this is the 10th calendar date as per the judgment of the Constitutional Court. So we want to keep ourselves there and say the bottom line is that this criminal assassin killed our General Secretary and a leader, a father, an uncle of many other people in our country. So that's where it starts. So his life is not taken, but Chris Hani's life is gone, he's no more. That's the bottom line, and that's why we want him to account for his deeds, to tell the truth, to show remorse, to show respect to the people of this country. We have given him a sense of Ubuntu. Despite what he has done, we have respected his rights, but he has never respected our rights. He has disdainfully attacked and violated our rights and continued to condemn them without any sense of remorse or sense of respect by apologizing properly to the family and sincerely to the family, and also telling the truth. Together with his co-conspirator, they've never spoken the truth.
Lastly, we spoke about a letter that had been written to the Minister of Justice on Saturday, delaying his release from prison. Have you received a response regarding that letter?
Well, the letter was to tell the minister that we are taking up various steps, which we have since done. We have engaged with the minister to confirm if he had received the letter, and the minister indicated that yes, he had received the letter. And therefore, he was awaiting our documents. Yesterday, the documents were filed by our lawyers. We are awaiting their response.
And have you had any communication with the Minister of Home Affairs, who's now released a statement saying that they're willing to grant Walus an exemption in order for him to serve his parole? We do know that is some of the requirements that you wanted, that he stays in the country. Have you had any correspondence regarding that?
We are happy. We saw the statement released by the Minister of Home Affairs, Dr. Mutwaledi. We are happy with the posture of the department because we believe they are correct legally. That if you are to grant Walus parole when he's stateless, he will not be able to serve the parole. In fact, that action itself will be illegal, and therefore they have to create a framework in which he can serve parole in this country, because parole is an extension of the sentence which you serve outside prison gate, or outside the prison, outside not inside. So therefore, if he is released, he will not be able to serve the parole. So it will be like he's released from prison. But now he's been released on parole. And I think the people must understand that we are opposing his release. And we feel that if he were to be released, at least he must serve the parole conditions, because under parole conditions, the minister will have to determine those, and as per the law. We want those to be effected here, and Poland has indicated it is not going to enforce any parole. Our constitution has no jurisdiction in their country. So in that regard, it's better that he serve this sentence here.
And for years, the SACP has been speaking about remorse, stating that Walus has not been transparent about the collaborators. Is it the SACP's position that the version presented before the TRC is not the correct version according to what you believe?
The TRC prioritized one of this case amongst others. I was a backroomer at the SACP. I used to come here to Pretoria to listen to them. They never spoke the truth. And the religious leaders, amongst them Archbishop Tutu, who were leading the TRC process, refused, and the entire panel refused to grant him amnesty on the basis that he did not tell the truth, the whole truth, together with Clive W. Lewis. All they simply indicated was to collaborate their two stories, that they planned this together amongst them and so forth, but never indicating anything substantial that could have led to a proper investigation to find the whole truth. For instance, we have raised the issues about the fact that in terms of the initial investigations, the gun that was utilized came from the Sadaf Amari, who gave it to him. All of that, those things were not exposed. So on that basis, we still believe that the TRC was right not to give him amnesty because he didn't tell the truth, and even now he still didn't tell the truth, and there's no basis. There was no basis why he should be released on parole when he's still unrepentant in that form.
Lastly, there's been a lot of criticism regarding the manner in which the mass mobilization has taken place. You went to the Constitutional Court, and now you're here going to the prison, and you have not gone towards the lawmaking bodies that created this parole framework, suggesting that is the SACP confident with murderers being released on parole until it's one of your own, or it affects one of your own?
No, that's an unfair criticism. Firstly, the parole process, our arguments that were taken up also with the Constitutional Court are within the framework of the law. First, that our views were not heard. And it's true. Go and read the judgment. The justices of the Constitutional Court only referred to Aus Dimpo, the Hani family, and us 3 times insofar as it's about processes as applicants. Nothing substantive about our submission to the court on the basis of law, nothing substantive regarding non-engagement in victim-offender dialogue, but they've taken his side and they've ruled on his side. So that's the point that we're dealing with. So we're not, of course, we believe that the parliament itself should take note of this and change this law so that it can become stringent, not be abused in the manner that Walus did.
All right, thank you so much. That was SACP General Secretary Salima Paila just sharing his thoughts ahead of the march to Kgosi Mampuru's prison ahead of the imminent release of Janusz Walus. I'm going to toss it back to you in studio.
Kenny, thank you so much. Some interesting observations there from the SACP, and of course we'll continue to watch that picket process. Naledi?